Okay, hear me out. Circles. Today we're looking at Primaeva's Blade Blast Saboteur. It uses a new transfigured version of Blade Blast to unleash beautiful, murderous circles. Welcome to Build of the Week. I'm Eben from Grinding Gear Games. Blade Blast is a spell that works in tandem with other gems. Casting Bladefall or Ethereal Knives leaves blades on the ground, which can be detonated with Blade Blast. However, this league we released Blade Blast of Unloading, a transfigured version of the gem that works with Blade Vortex instead. Blade Vortex builds up stacks of spinning blades around our character. Blade Blast of Unloading can then be used to detonate those blades in sequence. Here's the kicker. Subsequent detonations gain 100% more area of effect. Primaeva noticed the potential of this gem and decided to go all in. What makes it so effective is that if we time our movement skills right, the blasts follow the character, so we can keep moving while dealing damage in all directions. The only issue is that we need a smooth way to maintain the blades, without having to stand still and cast Blade Vortex every couple of seconds. The answer begins with Arcanist Brand. This brand, once placed, will periodically trigger whatever spell we link to it, in this case Blade Vortex. So we're automatically generating some blades, which we can detonate at our leisure. But we can go further. If you're new to Path of Exile, bear with me here because this is what it's all about. Primaeva suggests picking up the Saboteur's Perfect Crime skill. This provides two little trigger bots. These nifty minions take any triggered spell, like Blade Vortex that our Arcanist Brand is casting, and they cast it instead. And since there's two of them, the spell is essentially duplicated. With Blade Vortex, this means we're doubling the number of blades we get per brand activation. However, the secret sauce, as Primaeva calls it, is the Brand Recall skill. When used, this recalls and activates all of our brands at once. So if we have 5 brands active, it will activate 5 times, doubled by our trigger bots to provide 10 stacks of Blade Vortex. All we have to do now is bind Brand Recall to left click, occasionally casting Arcanist Brand as their duration depletes. If you're a gamepad player and you're wondering how the heck to bind something to left click, we will have a solution for this next league. So we have beautiful circles, but how do we make them murderous? The trick is more circles. Tiny little ones. Power charges are a fantastic idea for this build because they are an efficient way to invest in critical strikes. Primaeva is using Relikesh's Impatience, which essentially takes the bonuses we'd get from having maximum charges and provides them permanently. Then it's a matter of stacking more maximum charges from sources like this, and this. There's also plenty of ways to get extra damage per power charge. Items like Void Battery and Malachai's Loop are perfect for this. We can even use charms from the current Affliction League to gain more stacked bonuses. Our Amulet, Badge of the Brotherhood, is also a must-have. It sets our max frenzy charges equal to our max power charges, with all the advantages that brings. In all, we can reach 9 maximum power charges and thus get 9 charges worth of all of these bonuses. Delicious. The attack and cast speed is very useful for our shield charge in Arcanist Brand, helping the build to feel more responsive. Ideally, this character should be strong enough to kill most things before they hit you, but Primaeva admits it is something of a glass cannon. There are a few ways we can mitigate this. You'll remember we're using Malachai's Loop for the power charge nonsense. This item does have a major downside. Usually, we would shock ourselves every time we reach maximum power charges. Fortunately, there is a belt-shaped solution. If we equip Graven's Secret, every time we would gain a power charge, we instead gain something called an absorption charge. This means we never trigger the self-shock from Malachai's Loop. As an added bonus, absorption charges recoup a percentage of elemental damage we take as energy shield. Since we're using so many uniques, we do have to be careful to optimize the rest of our item slots for defense. A good band-aid fix for our defense is a Tula's Hunger. This body armor provides a huge chunk of life, so long as the rest of our gear doesn't have any. Fortunately, the other necessary uniques we're using don't have any life mods. Primaeva has clearly demonstrated how powerful transfigured gems can be with a little creativity. Not only that, but he's also outlined several versions of the build for different budgets and preferences. One such version focuses on Impale, while another focuses on cold damage, so you can freeze your foes with that massive AoE. Thanks to Primaeva for his contribution. Be sure to check out his build guide, linked below. If you'd like your circles to look as cool as these, here's the microtransactions we used in this video. See you next time!